All right, what's up, y'all? welcome to another day of craziness, and yet again we've got another divergence between the S&P and the Nasdaq. ES is facing a little bit more pressure here. Nasdaq has had their own little red, but holding on. Microsoft is currently rolling over. Nvidia's got a little bit of a red here, and Apple, of course, once again rocketing. Apple is now once again the golden child plunge protection team, and here we are about to hit the day, start the day here. Um, yeah, a lot of craziness. And we'll see how things roll. My guess is not nearly as bullish as yesterday. In fact, I think the opposite today. I think pressure is going to be on the books. So again, everything is dumping except for Apple. It's pretty much been the same thing for the past couple of weeks. Apple has been supporting everything just rocket ship, especially out of the gate. And just keep an eye on that thing as we continue to build into that Opex closing into next week. Going to be a quick morning for me. Going camping at Dinosaur National Monument. Very cool. Very cool. Was that an Opex candle on Microsoft? Possibly. All right, here's the market open. Let me get the YouTube stream going. Bam, bam, bam. There we go. What's happening? A little bit of green, 20.005. Looking across the X's here, we have mostly red with a little bit of green. So we'll look to see how things roll. IV is not low. We're talking 26% IV here. That's definitely lower than FOMC, but in terms of normalcy, that is actually a pretty high IV. So they're jacked. And like I said, I still think we're going to undo a lot of what happened yesterday, even though we've already undone a lot of what happened yesterday, especially on the S&P. ES is giving back almost all of yesterday's move, not accounting pre-market. Nasdaq is just a little bit higher. So, going to be a quick morning. I already got that. So I will be popping back and forth between SpotGamma's new trace tool during the day. Right here, you can kind of see that. And we'll be referencing that tool as things start to come into the top of the morning. A little bit of green here on NASDAQ. ES is still selling off, so a complete divergence between tech. I'm going to keep doing that, aren't I? Between tech and NASDAQ. Although you can't see it on the thing right here, so that's fine. 57.60 top wick on the 15-minute. We rejected the overnight high on NASDAQ exceptionally well. Perfect area to reject that area. ES did the same, but they did not bounce. They're still selling off. $5.762. Large red on XLF. I'm going to start getting into the data here to see how things roll. But overall, I gave my little spiel in the stream analysis tab yesterday, and I stick by it. I stand by it. I think that there's a good probability that NASDAQ finishes, or the market finishes red in September. Large sweeping top wick on NASDAQ, rejecting the overnight levels once again. Microsoft is putting on a decent green candle, but there's a large red sweeping candle on NASDAQ. Grab some at the money puts for Wednesday near the highs. Every day should see like it goes up 20%. Nice. ES is still rolling lower here. And large sweeping red candle on NASDAQ. Now all of the X's are red except for utilities. XLU. The yields are red. No, they're green. I'm sorry, I was looking at the yields, the bonds themselves. The yields are again green, still going higher with the bonds still maintaining down, which is still a lot of oddities going on with what occurred this week. So possible red September with green action plays now until signs confirm a solid downside play within the day. Yeah, obviously these elevated levels not a terrible way to start looking for a possible retracement, obviously, but it's gonna be considered front running to do it up here. I think a lot of what happened yesterday and yesterday pre-market had to do with Opex and just a manufacturer move to roll positions into Opex. So it definitely has the look of a selling climax. Not to mention we rejected and haven't bought up since about 1 o'clock yesterday afternoon. One second. There we go. 57.63. Bought back the entire pre-market red. Nasdaq did, yeah. ES is still down though. ES is not going anywhere. Nasdaq is. Apple once again, of course, skyrocketing like it does every day. Nvidia is also skyrocketing like it does every day. Microsoft is still down. We've got Google is selling off. Meta sold off, but then bottom licked. Amazon did the same. And then, of course, Apple has been skyrocketing since like 1997 or something like that. ES is still coming down, 57.63. And overall, we're still within the bounds of the little downward channel here. Today we have over 1.5 trillion in exposure rolling off the books for Opex. So a phenomenal amount of exposure with all of the 0 DTE volatility the past couple of months. I think I officially have too many tabs open. I'm clicking all over the place. We have call buying, put selling right now on a small scale. We currently have the main exposure around 57.50 on SPX. We have Boeing is the put leader and NVIDIA is the call leader today on the flow. But it's very early. So still no drop for the rate cut, which taken them so long. It's only been like 1 day. So it could take weeks or months for the market to actually begin to feel that pressure. So, yeah. Especially when you're heavily option driven, and kind of what Brent talked about yesterday is that the market is becoming, more and more controlled by the options instead of the other way around. Instead of becoming a derivative, they're actually becoming the actual product itself, and it's causing to these extreme moves. That's what's maintaining these extreme moves in the market is the massive amount of position with options, which has an effect of the Greeks, which has effect on hedging, which has effects on the flows. The algorithmic flows, which are produced by the hedging parameters, are causing this amount of volatility. And who knows if that's ever going to go away. Big green here, NASDAQ. Apple and NVIDIA are ripping right now. Microsoft is red. So yet another divergence here on the market. NASDAQ is barely top wicking at the 0.67 area. Most likely we'll grab and take out 0.75, all to new overnight highs here. ES is 5764. Very weak data today. Not much going on at all. Apple's top wicking. NVIDIA's top wicking. We'll see if NVIDIA can actually do some following. Other than that, it's still kind of hanging out. ES is lower. Russell put a new low in and took out their little area. And Dow did the same thing. But NASDAQ still pushing full steam ahead to the upside, as they've always done. They're now up another top wick. So a breach above the overnight levels and then aggressive top wick. That looked like a sweep if they close it down on the 5-minute. So again, we're just sticking here between the 5 and 15. That was an aggressive move up to 20.085. An aggressive top wick back down to 0.50, so 30 points. But it's got to close as a top wick. If they fill it back up, then full steam ahead. They got to set the hook. Put a worm on the hook, throw it out there, and set the hook. No follow through though. 20.065. ES is 5.765. Microsoft is coming red. Large candle top wick on NASDAQ. Still no movement. Unable to follow through. But they're trying to. ES is kind of holding on, not moving. If NASDAQ can fill this top wick down, that might be the play to potentially go a little bit lower. But it's got to do it. Why do you think we end the red? End red in September? Because September is traditionally a bearish month. And the fact that we had 50 basis points and a lot of stuff is weird. There's a lot of oddities going out there that are happening and shouldn't be happening. Plus, they found 1,000 bottles of lube in Diddy's house, and that's just not good for anybody. Perhaps attack at 19,980 again. Possibly. You love fishing? There you go. SpotGat had a good comment on NVIDIA. Options expiring may free it to move to 120 or above. I don't think so. Maybe 120, but not too far past that. What do you think is the huge increase in demand for options is driven by? Gambling, idiots, jabronis, Wall Street bets. 20 million people on Wall Street bets, all gambling their grandmother's inheritance away on 0DT options. Why do you think they're creating all these 0DT products? You know, they already did it for SPY, SPX. They're thinking about doing it for VIX and TLT. They're going to eventually do it out for all of the individual names. Why do you think they're doing it? Because when you discover gold, you don't sell the gold, you sell shovels. You don't mine for gold, you sell the shovels to mine for gold. And that's what they're doing. So, jabroniism. That's why. Large sweeping red candles on NASDAQ. We're going to see if we could fill into lower areas. But it's still very wicky. Very witwicky. 20.040. Bottom wick, right on back up. Not a lot of clear stuff, so we're going to wait till the top of the hour here and get something going. And then I'll kind of go over, I had someone ask me about the VPA signal from yesterday about the short. I'm going to go over that and just kind of pinpoint how that kind of stuck out yesterday's action, and highlight a feature on the spot gamma trace tool as well. There's been a frequent pivot point on the trace that I've been kind of monitoring the past week. I've only been using it, about a week and a half now. But the one-day implied move has actually turned into a pretty good pivot on the market. Yeah, you can pretty much milk anything to milk liquidity faster than taxation. Large bottom wick, NASDAQ. Still pinned flat. I'm in rare form today. I've had a good day, man. I've had a good day. Not to mention it's Friday. Got a beautiful weekend ahead, although someone needs to tell Summer to go home. Even though we only have one more day left. That these temperatures are definitely not pumpkin spice latte style temperatures. Another sweeping bottom wick on NASDAQ, right up to 20.06. Pin flat. ES is 57.63, not moving at all. Apple down, NVIDIA up, Microsoft down, Google is down, Meta is sideways. Not a lot to go off of for the options data just yet. I'm seeing the flow is very light. The GEX is spread out all over the place so far, and the options buying on the top flow is also very light. And all they're doing here is just sweeping for liquidity back and forth, whips on all over the place. The S&P looks like it wants to give out low. NASDAQ is still going higher, so we've been dealing with a lot of divergences this week in terms of strength within the S&P and NASDAQ, which causes for a little bit of early morning shakeout. So you have to just be patient and just wait your turn to put on a good VPA qualified play with volume, price, and then the third one would be levels. Remember, levels, as important as they are not a system. You have to learn to play price action at those levels. There's three components of a trade, which I kind of talked about yesterday in the Tier 2 channel. You've got what the volume is doing, what the price is doing, what the price action is doing, and at what price it's doing it at. And those three components is what need to correlate for you to form confidence. Very wiki price action. Terrible price action. Maybe we're in for a pin day on for a Friday. Couple of top wicks. Iron butterflies for the win this morning. Yeah. Man, more action in pre-market than it is in the open. This is terrible. Terrible. We're at a key gamma strike you see right here, which is 5,700. Now, Sprint told us yesterday that he's a buyer of 5,700 in SPX, but if they give out 5,700, it's going to enter us into some negative gamma territory, which will induce a lot of selling. So it's a key component here for the market today at SPX being right on 5,700. Let's see. Still not moving. Still not moving. Woke up and my internet provider had sent me an email saying there's service out until 2 p.m. this afternoon. Maybe we'll come back for the afternoon, the power hour. But my weekend is starting early. Have a good weekend trading. Nice, Minister. Not a terrible idea so far. I've had a pretty great week. Not as good as the past couple weeks, but I'm just kind of waiting things to go. Do you think it to be possible for dealers to outsmart Spot Gamma's new tool? Spot Gamma's tool specifically? I mean, not necessarily. I think the general market analysis across that style of tool, absolutely. They're not dumb, and we are their liquidity. And allowing us to win consistently as retail traders, that's like, a farmer going out and just shooting their cow in the head. It doesn't do anything. They're not going to get any meat from it. They're not going to get any milk from it. They're not going to get any calves from it. So we need to maintain the cattle phase for them to be able to collect what they want as farmers. So, of course, they're just going to adjust every tool, and that's how algorithms work anyway. Any kind of tool or edge is always going to be undone because, the algorithms always want to be unburdened by what has been. Double top wicks here on NASDAQ off of the overnight high, sweeping back down. And, yeah. How many top wicks can you get to the center of a Tootsie Pop? 15 top wicks. 20042 NASDAQ. holding dead flat after multiple top wicks, still just kind of back and forth. We are 11 minutes away from the top of the hour, and still no movement. Multiple top wicks on NVIDIA, and just be patient. Try to wait for the top of the hour to get the breakthrough. Whether it be up or down, just be patient. We need volume to break through. Another sweeping red. What's up, Annie? How you doing? Welcome back. Multiple top wicks here. Very wicky, but starting to press a touch lower. We'll see here. Bottom wick, yep. I love Chicken Shack in Michigan. Best sauce. Interesting. Looks like they want to breach lower as soon as they give out VWAP. There you go. You have to stop making that satanic statement. I'm making it in jest. It's all right. Man, with the amount of profit posts I'm seeing about TopStep and other prop firms on Twitter, these prop firms are about to be out of business soon. There's a whole bunch of profit posting. Is everybody like just yanking in 100K on prop firms? Can't keep up with these guys. Any plans for a chapter review this weekend or taking the weekend off? Well, this is our off weekend. I do the calls every other weekend, which once again is yesterday. It was supposed to be yesterday. We didn't do it. God, I got to set some alarms, man. There was a lot going on yesterday. Let's see. We need to do chapter 8. How about we'll do Monday morning. Monday morning. We'll do chapter 8, and then we'll do chapter 9 on Thursday. And then next Sunday we'll do chapter 10. Man, no movement whatsoever. It's terrible. Why are prop firms in trouble due to payout? Yeah, because everyone's taking like $100,000 payouts, man. It's crazy. It's crazy. I thought I was doing well. Looks like quad witching action. So far, yeah, just dead flat. Multiple top wicks again on NASDAQ. And eventually the buyers are going to have to move this thing beyond supply, or we're going to have to refresh into about 20,000. Here's another top wick on NASDAQ. Multiple top wicks on NVIDIA, on Apple, on Microsoft, but no movement. We have 7 minutes till the top of the hour. There's little to no supply below this level. Demand. Little no demand. Let me go take a look at the S&P, because you have a couple of different components here. The S&P, if we give out this area, we have a whole bunch of imbalance back down to 5,700, which is 60 points down. SPX, we have a whole bunch of options support at the 5,700. So that's why we're kind of holding out right here. And SPX is right at 5,700 on the money, because there's a whole bunch of option support right here. I recently made another account on TopStep, and it appears the amount of accounts getting created daily is insane. How do you know that? I think the degen gamblers outweigh profitable traders by... Oh, of course. Absolutely. Their business model would fail if there were more profitable traders indeed. I was just being colorful. More degen gamblers than profitable traders, yeah. Your account numbers change. Oh, okay. I'm still sticking on U contracts back and forth on Bookmap, but I'm actively trading December contracts, and I'm actively analyzing December contracts on TradingView. And we are holding up right at a particular level at the moment here as well. It's a support resistance flip from Wednesday, from yesterday, and from prior back when we were last time at all-time highs. S&P is slowly sliding lower. NASDAQ is multiple top wicks. Coming on down. All right, so let me show you the spot gamma tool here. I told you I was going to show you all this. This is what we got going on right here. Let's zoom in a little bit. This is Spot Gamma's new trace tool. This is an options flow derivative. It's basically Bookmap for options. And I'm sure I'll say that another 15,000 times. A lot of great stuff. Right now we're at the delta pressure. This shows the actual short and long delta. Right here we showed not a lot of pressure here being in long deltas. Short delta block up here, which we've already rejected. And down here as well, you start to see it come in, and that can be described as short puts and calls. We've got a couple other things here. We have the key levels, which you can turn on and off. I keep them on. Call wall, the 1-day implied move high, 1-day implied move low, and the key gamma strike, which is right here at 5,700. So, and then over here you show the actual OI as well. You show whether or not people are shorting puts, buying calls, and where the larger levels are. So the couple of things to look at, and kind of what I would highly encourage you to go listen to from Brent himself, not from me. Go listen to the conversation with yesterday from Brent. It was about 45 minutes. Fantastic stuff. He does start out with some basic options knowledge to kind of get you primed into learning about the trace tool. I highly encourage you to take some time this weekend and early in the morning before the fam wakes up and listen to that conversation. But I'll be using this tool ongoing and seeing how I can better position myself in the markets. In addition, the little squiggly line here, that is the overlay of the hero tool, which is the 0DT options flow on the market. So, where's the link from yesterday? Put it in the stream analysis channel. Did I? No, I didn't. I put it in the channel, but I'll get it for you. Oh man. Videos. Boom. Yeah, I'll put it here. Did I put it in the stream analysis channel? All right, I'll do it again. There you go. You're welcome. Change stream settings. 2 tabs at the top of application screens. Click share the screen you interact with and move things over to that screen. Huh. Let me take a look. 57.57. Still going lower here on ES. Trickling down. Very slow. Finally, after multiple top wicks, we do breach lower, but still very slow. We obviously have a little bit of a pivot at 20.003. We just took out the day's lows and heading lower. VIX is hanging out 1627. TLT is 9903. XLF is bouncing. And there's nothing that's really an outlier move today. How about putting here also? Yeah, right there. I've got it up. Oh, a little bit more red coming in. There you go. Bam. 20,000 coming down. We've got 19,969s next. ES has dropped over to 53 with a negative CVD. Let's go take a look at September's, see if they got here. All right, there's nothing left on that thing, so we're about to close that out. NASDAQ has got 20.003 right here, dropping back off to 975. Yeah, we need some volume. We need volume. We have a little bit of call selling. They're definitely not smashing the 0DT calls, that's for sure. And they're selling them. The GEX is spread out a lot. The main levels at the moment are about 56.60. And NVIDIA is still leading the calls. Is that accurate? 60 million? There's 110 million in net premiums for Boeing puts for downside. They are killing the premiums on Boeing. Large red sweeping here, dropping on NASDAQ and ES. Finally, we get some movement on down. It's into 20,000. Finally. Well, thanks, Annie. Appreciate you being here. Is your order book screen frozen? It was. I got it going now. You and Apex, did they refuse payout? Yeah, they refused. Well, there was technically two things they had problems with. One was dollar cost averaging, which is something I frequently do with prop firms, within a certain reasonableness. And two, inconsistent position sizing is what they said. Because sometimes I would use 1 or 2 ES, and sometimes I would use 4 or 5 micro. Most of the time it was 4 or 5 micro, and they said that was inconsistent position sizing. So I was like, man, I'm done with this. I'm just not going to deal with it. So why am I going to put myself through that when TopStep doesn't even ask you a question? Just say, all right, you made the money, cool, here's your money. No ifs, ands, or buts. So I'm not going to waste my time with that. Red candle's 57.50 down to the bottom wick of 574825. And ES is about to tap that. NASDAQ is breaching below 20,000 and going on down. XLF is sliding. Here's the previous day's low right here. Yesterday's low is 5748. SPX has now breached 10 points under 5,700. So, inconsistent position sizing. AK, you didn't YOLO and lose it. Yeah, tell me about it. Yeah. I'll show it. Yeah, I'll show a kid. Yeah. That was Apex. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, trust me, it was very appealing for me to try to do 20 accounts. You know, if I can even make $5,000 in profits for 20 accounts, that's $100,000, and that was very appealing to me. That's why I tried to do it. But I'm not going to put up with that crap. You know, it's ridiculous. Predatory. I guess that's why it's called Apex, because they're the apex predator of prop firms. I'm amazed prop firms are even legal, how many rules they have and how misleading they are. Yep. One day implied move is 5675 SPX. Largest level is also 5.6. So you got some short puts at 5.680. They're going to defend on SPX. So if we do drop, you have to look for 5.680. Am I in any trade scalps? I'm currently short NASDAQ from 0.40, 0.37 technically on my IBKR, but that's it. Are we below 5680? Negative. We are 5694 at the moment on SPX. SMH losing an important level. Oh yeah, playing a little SMH, nice. TopStep's definitely much better. Yeah. I just got a live account and I do the same thing. Nice. I hate the live account. Not gonna be honest with. I'm honest with you. I've hit the daily losing level 3 times for that stupid live account. I hate it. I was super excited to be on a live account because like, hey, this is actually like I could get away from the slippage and be on a real order book. But I accumulated like $40,000 on my TopStep, and they put me on a live. And then when they put me on a live, they put you back on a daily losing level. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, you take your best traders, they put you on a live, and then they put back on the daily losing level. So I hit it 3 times. I'm like, screw this. I'm not even going to bother with this. It's like, I don't need handcuffs. It's like learning how to ride a freaking, I guess, a professional bike, and then they put you back on a tricycle with training wheels. Yeah, I emailed them to take it off. I may have not been the most polite about it, but they didn't. They never responded. So like whatever. So I'm just trading the XFAs. I'm trading the regular Express accounts that I opened. $5753. They didn't ask you if you wanted that account. No. I got an email one day saying that we like the way you trade. We're putting you on a live account. Like, they don't give you any kind of choice in the matter, and you can't opt out. So, and then they wait 10 days to actually put you on an account. All right. So options data here. We have got an extreme amount of call selling, put buying on Boeing. So that's going to lead me to go over and look at their stock price, which is tanking right now. But I'm talking extreme, 110 million. Nvidia right now has 70 million in positive premium and call buying, put selling, which is extreme. In fact, I'm going to go over and look at Nvidia and see what that's all about. If you drill down to Nvidia's, oh, that's why. Yeah, it's this massive amount of call buying. So a lot of people ask me as well, you remember a week and a half ago, whatever it was, when Nvidia was drilling negative premium. I'm talking to it was like 30, 40 million. It might have been 60 million of negative premium, and Nvidia wouldn't fall. And I was talking about that like never happened before. I went back and looked at it just because it wasn't put buying, it was call selling, which call selling is not bullish, but it also doesn't necessarily mean downside. It just means we're not going to go any higher, and that's what Nvidia did. It didn't really go any higher. It just didn't sell off. So when I see that negative premium, I have to drill down further into the flow line, which is a little fix I've made, to figure out exactly what's causing that insane amount of flow. So are you being more cautious with the other accounts? No, I'm just trading my normal system. Sometimes, I draw down with my position size because I'm usually right now I built up enough wiggle room, especially with them removing the daily loss limit, is I can now trade it like I'd trade my normal account, which is anywhere between 1 to 3, maybe even 5 minis sometimes if I'm feeling confident. Most of the time, though, it's about 3. My sweet spot is about 3 minis. That's what I'm comfortable with the drawdown when I'm wrong. That's what I'm comfortable with fluctuation. So I had built up enough of a buffer, and especially after they removed the DLL on the live or on the XFAs that I added with trading with TopStep X, that I was able to trade my normal account just like I normally do. But unfortunately, when they put back on the DLL, I was unable to do that. So I just don't know you're a living goat. I'm definitely not a living goat. But ES is coming off 57.54. Hanging out at the bottom, NASDAQ is 20.014. There's no real benefit to the live account from what I can see. Have not had bad slippage, honestly. From what size were you trading when you were seeing large slippage? Anywhere between 3 and 5. Like I said earlier, just that's about what I was doing. It's been fun though. It's been fun. Y'all know I'm not too big into the prop stuff. I was kind of just going back and forth. There were features are fun. Me and him had been sharing. I've been sharing my profits with him in the DMs because he motivated me. He's a beast. He's a freaking trading beast. So it's been fun, you know. I have a little competitive edge. Shouldn't the VIX be moving? Well, define should. Define should. Right now, with the fact that the VIX is not moving, is telling me that they're not, one, they're definitely not de-risk, they're not de-hedging. They're not rolling off positions beyond 16, 17. So yesterday, with that a crazy amount of bullishness yesterday, do you think they should have rolled that off if that was a true bull move? No. So the fact that VIX is holding on 16, 17, which is still high in the real world, tells me that they're not quite ready to de-hedge. They're not quite ready to de-hedge. Yeah, futures are fun. He's absolutely killing it. He's a better scalper than I am, in all honesty, from the results I'm seeing. I can't keep up with him. I try to keep up. I put up some big days, don't get me wrong. But that dude's a scalping machine. Is witching a decent catalyst? It's usually a pin day. When you expire all this stuff, it's typically that it's just a flat day. I want to see a challenge. I love it. Hmm. 1997. A trading royale against all the Discord MCs. That would be fun, actually. And I was thinking about doing the trading competition in 2025. Just putting 10K in, just trying it. I've always been curious to see how I would measure up. Band for band. Top wicks here on 19999. Testing the overnight low. Still very, very slow price action. 15-minute double top wick. ES is still going lower here, shifting to 57.50. And look for a target of about 56.80 on SPX, which will be approximately 57.40 on ES for the first target. This is Wiki. Haven't really found anything other than a very small and quick scalp. Yeah, I'm the same way. I'm still holding short on my IBKR. But that's it. It's very slow. What else y'all got? What else y'all want to know? I do have an increase of put buying on the QQQ. NASDAQ still selling here on down. Let me hit or what I'll do here. Screen. Change windows. Spot gamma dashboard. There you go. So that's what we're looking at right here. And you see this right here. The short put that's sitting at 56.80 will be the first supportive measure for SPX here. But now that we've taken out 5,700, it could induce some selling. And then we'll come down and watch this implied move. But you see there's not a lot of short pressure here, major side, until we start getting down in the roughly 56.60 ballpark. Now 56.60 is 27 points down. That'll put us right on top of yesterday's or Wednesday's high-ish levels, right in that supportive area. It's still sliding. This guy's an absolute features assassin. Kind of a big ego, with the so to speak. it up there. This is financial advice. I don't know, man. I just can't do ego. I can't. I don't care if you're freaking if you're Mike Tyson of trading. I just can't do ego. In my experience, there's very little correlation between profitability and ego. I just can't do it. If you're arrogant in trading, that means you haven't been humbled, or you're lying about not being humbled, because eventually the market will take its pound of flesh. But who's the gentleman in here doing amazing on TopStep? Yeah, that was futures are fun. In fact, I just recently unfollowed a guy that I've been following for a long time. That I usually enjoyed his analysis, but he got into P&L posting and bragging and calling out other traders. I was like, man, I'm done. I see that crap, unfollow. I ain't got time for all that. I'm 38 years old. This ain't high school. Futures are fun. He's a smart fella, or a fart smeller, one of the two. Who we talking about? Discord. Yeah, yeah, we're doing Discord. Yeah. Never gets old. Yeah. Yep. Only selling options today. Still driving to lower here. Nasdaq is 19,983, and I'm still holding short. I don't know if we can get down. I'd love to get down to 19,933. That is my target from FOMC. If you remember, that was my upstart target to look for, and we rejected it multiple times. We finally breached it, and now that'll be my retest target if we start to drop. Where'd you say the SPX target support is? 5680 will be the first one, and then 5670 will be. Or let me double check that. The second number. I know the first one's 5670, 5680. After that, we'll be looking at 5675, which is all 5 points away. However, when now the big doggle, that's just zero DTE stuff I'm talking about there. The big level, the macro level, is 5700 for SPX. That's the big options level. Relationship ended with NQ. RTY is my new symbol. I love it. So I don't get egg in my face for the fourth day in a row. How dare you say this ain't high school and follow someone? I just saw Elon telling someone to be in an interview. Oh, yeah. Top wick again on NASDAQ. So that might be able to shift things lower. It's very slow, obviously, so play at your own risk. RTY and Dow is bouncing back up. The banks XLF are starting to climb back up here. Not too much to go over today. NVIDIA gave back the entire run up there. Apple is starting to. Microsoft did as well. The VIX ain't moving. They're hanging on to 1620. The bonds are still downshifting, which is odd. I mean, look at even what, Robert yesterday posted the questions that he asked the Morgan Stanley people that he met with, which is appreciate him doing that. Awesome stuff. But even they were talking about that Morgan Stanley is beginning to position look to position into long treasuries with the rate cut cycle. Because what happens when the yields drop is bonds go up. That's what we've been talking about since like 2021. And that's why it's odd that bonds are getting crushed and yields are going up with the first 50 cut, which is why I think, one, there's a good possibility we end September red, and why the long bond play is still the main play for this year and next year. I watched a good Tasty Trade video yesterday. Tom Sosnoff said that the bonds went down because too much too fast, essentially. I mean, any explanation is good as any, honestly. I think it's more. If I had to give my completely uneducated opinion, I would say it's simply just a waiting game. I think it's all this massive amount of liquidity is causing a major amount of volatility in bonds and equities and options, and I think it's just a waiting game. I don't think anyone's ever seen anything like this market, myself certainly included with that, in terms of how to gauge what's going to happen here in the upcoming weeks and months and quarters. Chat with Traders was interesting, interviewing a guy that only does contrarian plays where he watches for events that should push the stock one direction but doesn't. Typically observing that the buyers already have bought as much as they can. There's no more buying to push it further. Being filled with players. A crowded trade. Yeah, so if it's a crowded trade, they're going to counter that. That makes perfect sense, and I would agree with that. But it all goes back to the game of liquidity. We're fighting algorithms here that are programmed to seek out two things. Supply and demand, which fancy terms for supply and demand is discount and premium. That's all it goes. The markets are going to move until they hit a discounted price at which they're going to create that liquidity by shaking the market. And they're going to climb until they hit premium, at which point they're going to start to distribute their inventory onto the market. They're going to suck liquidity out of the retail. That's exactly right. So that's all the algorithms are going to do. And there's multiple types of algorithms. You've got the swing algorithms, the longer trade algorithms that hold. You've got the shorter time algorithms, but they all are programmed to trace the market until liquidity, to premium or discount. And if you can understand that, you can understand, all right, I see a quick red move. If we're seeing a little bullish price action, for example, we're seeing a quick red move here. The average retail trader is going to start shorting that red move, thinking we're going to dump, but all of a sudden it bottom wicks and it goes higher. It's a quick set the hook. Just throw the worm out there and set the hook to get the market moving. And we know that through the teachings of Anna Coling. That exact point is taught through Anna Coling. She just does it in a very clear format that breaks it down very easily. It's all about inducing liquidity at critical points in the market. Your brain would say duration of the trade, but I'm not sure that's going to work out in real return terms if inflation goes back up. I'll tell you what, man, the next 12 months or so is going to be very interesting. Whether or not this thing flies or crashes or whatever, it's going to be very interesting. In all honesty, in my short-term trades, I could care less what happens. We'll trade whatever happens. But I'm more worried about my TSP in my long-term stock account. because at this point I don't know what to do. I don't know when to put on my hedge. I don't really know when to start transferring my TSP back into the G fund. So I don't know. Things are pretty crazy. My gut says just leave it alone and I'll come back in 10 years. But at the same time, I want to be as efficient as I can with my proceeds. Ten years is a pretty strong time horizon to let things cook if we have a drawdown. Yeah, but that's the nature of being a long-term stockholder. You know. One sec, I have to answer a phone call. I have a delivery today. All right, I'm back. The real question is, can you stomach the drawdown and not do something stupid? That is an ongoing question I ask myself every day. Can I not be a jabroni? So just go perma long stocks and only go up. Printer goes burr. It's been crazy though. We've seen in the past 4 years. In all seriousness, let me make sure the YouTube's turned back on. Yeah, in the last 4 years, we have seen 15 years worth of movement. We've seen multiple aggressive sell-offs and buy-ups, insane rallies that literally are so strong that you can't even plot a trend line on because it's straight up. That go on for weeks and months and quarters. So, who knows what's going to happen with the option chain the way it is and with the liquidity the way it is? Who knows? Obviously, y'all know my take, but we could be at 6,300 in 18 months just as easily as we could be at 3,800. So, but the only thing I'm doing right now is I'm hoarding cash in my long-term account, and whenever I see a significant drawdown, I'm just gonna add to it. I'm just gonna add to it and be done with it. Throw in a couple of hedge puts every now and then when I see it, and if we get one more push down, maybe that'll be the time to transfer my TSP into the G fund and just chill it. Is Trace more of a scalping tool or a swing tool? In my opinion, that's the unique thing about the Trace tool as opposed to normal options flow or normal hero tool, is that you can use it as a swing tool. Because, for example, right now, if we're looking at the Trace tool, and let me switch back over here. Bear with me. Change windows. Spot Gamma. Nope, that's not it. Spot Gamma dashboard. Sounds like a band. There we go. So if we're looking at this, I'll put it on the YouTube too. It shows the key gamma strikes and the call wall. This call wall and gamma strike is not a 0 DTE derivative. That's all the macro derivative of the current environment, which shifts right here. Like the 5750 is the JP Morgan collar. So that's a big level we need to pay attention to for the next, at least until they roll it. I would say another 11 days or so, but until they roll it. So it can be and of course the 0 DTE stuff right here, which I do have checked, will show the 0 DTE data, which is the red and the blue and the stuff here. But you can also look at the long-term additives that'll give you swing trades. Like for example, 5,700. If we can close under 5,700 and begin to shift away from it, then we could possibly look for a swing put position. But as long as we hold around this level, I don't really want to short until we start giving out this lower level and we retrace back into negative gamma territory, which can show a little bit more pressure. All in all, I need to see what was yesterday. Was yesterday a simply a mechanical move from Opex, depositioning from FOMC, or are we really ready to take out 5,800? That's what I need to figure out. Because so far, it has all the looks of a selling climax so far. Not quite there yet, but the beginning stages of one. And maybe that's just wishful thinking. I don't know. SPX. Yep, SPX. More of the story, don't buy pagers. Yeah. I think the bond play is still good long term, but it seems like the run up was just pricing in the guarantee of a rate cut. When they announced it, there was no meat left on the bone. Yeah, but we have to think about that, man. The bond market is infinitely better than the equities market. The treasury market that is the daddy. The equities market is just like the redheaded stepchild. So the fact that the bond market is still at an all-time long bear market and not moving off the bottom very much is a little weird. Now there's a lot of components talked about, the Japan carry trade, the stuff going on with China and Taiwan, which we haven't even dealt with yet. So there's a lot going on under the hood. Not to mention the liquidity influx from 2020 that really hasn't been undone with or dealt with, the inflation cut cycle, all that stuff. Interest rates. So it's easy to think about this is the best long opportunity in bonds and TLT products in history, which probably is why they're not bouncing it, because it's a crowded trade. And they need to shake the market out, just like they do everything else, to get the wheels greased. Occam's razor, right? Sometimes the best explanation is the simplest explanation. I mean, and do you think we're going up against really smart people on Wall Street? Like, these dudes are like doing coke off strippers, and like they've got marinara sauce dripping down their shirt, yelling at each other. They're just like us, except they have tools. Gold new all-time highs again today. It's fun to think about, though. This is why I love this game, though, because it's a constant mind workout to think about this stuff, to engage in how to become better, and how to manage my wealth. I love it. I don't know what I would do without trading, or without investing, I guess is a better term. I'd have to go play, go to join a chess club or something. Yeah, I was curious why they said FTT is terrible. Why is FTT terrible? Oh man. What was your method for getting over losses and not going for revenge trades? I had a negative 8% day and I'm feeling the pressure to recoup losses. What's your mindset in recovering from account post losses? I mean, one, you have to be proactive in dealing with that game. Um, I can't even. The last time I've had an 8% day, negative day, and not to pick on you, was March of 22 when I lost 100 and something $1,000. So if you are going to have a negative 8% day, that needs to be a very rare occurrence, number one. If you're exposing yourself to the point where it's possible to lose 8% of your account in a single day trading, way, 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 way too overexposed. However, I know some people have, like a $4,000 account, it's hard to avoid 8% exposure. I get that, but getting back to your original question of how do you recoup from that, is you need to forget about it. There is no such thing as recouping a loss. If you have a $5,000 account, you lose $2,000 of it. Now you have a $3,000 account. You don't have a $5,000 account anymore. You have a $3,000 account. There is no such thing as getting back those losses. The trade set up on the chart is going to be there whether or not you have a $3,000 account or a $100,000 account. Doesn't matter. All you have to do is just turn into a robot and trade the setups that you see. If you have any thought of, I need to get back my money, you're trading like a human, not a robot. So decouple yourself from revenge trading, getting it back, any kind of that line of thought. Get out of your system. It doesn't do anything. Because if you're taking a trade for any other reason other than, I think this is a good setup and based on my system rules, then you're dead wrong. So become a robot and not a human. By the way, crazy your prediction became reality on the assassination attempt on DJT. I thought about that the other day. I remember you called it like in January. Yeah. That's not something I'm happy to be right about, but the writing is all over the wall. It's blatantly obvious that they're trying to kill him, and now it's been twice. And in my opinion, if he does manage to get through the installment and become the president, which I don't think will happen, he won't make it 4 years, unfortunately. Speaking of which, I saw they added that movie Civil War to Max. I'm going to have to watch it. I'm curious. Although now I don't have my movie room, so I'm kind of bummed, but I want to watch it. It's meh. I'm still curious what Hollywood thinks the Civil War would look like. Is he that much anti-establishment? Not really. That's the thing. He's not anti-establishment. Well, I don't want to go in this conversation because I'm not necessarily a pro-Trumper. I'm not pro-Trump. I'm just anti everything else. Anti-government. But I don't want to go down that conversation. No, that's all right. I'm a people first type of guy. I could care less about government. I'm a people first type of guy. My whole qualm with the government is that it's no longer taking care of the people. It's dividing the people, and they're lining their own pockets. Have you watched Dumb Money yet? I haven't. They don't try to make it a realistic civil war. It's about journalists. Oh, okay. Be honest, that movie kind of sucks. More a story about reporters. One more Apex question. Did they remove your profits when they denied your payout? I don't know. I can't. I closed my account. I sent them an email, said please close my account immediately, wipe my information from your server, and they responded back with done. So just came to mind because they predicted it so far in advance. Yeah. I would track every single trade you make. When I was red, I noticed when you have 2 to 3 days a month with blowout losses killing the month, and literally 2 weeks to make it back in a single day loss. Yeah, I mean that's the thing. If you're short-term trading with 0 DTEs, there's a very high probability that you'll wipe out a month worth of profits in one single trade. The only way to get around doing that, the only way to make 0 DTE or 1 DTE option trading viable, is to keep things small and put together a track record, and don't let your losses spiral out of control. So if you put together a good 2 weeks and then you say, you know what, I'm going to size up and put 80% of my account into the 0DT to try to get me, a good 5-point scalp that'll net me 40%. One wrong move and you've wiped out a month of profits, if not more. And that's what y'all, I don't want to say y'all, that's what retail traders do with 0DTEs. It can be an absolutely horrific tool for wealth creation if you're doing that style of trading. So if you are going to trade 0DTs, you have to consistently keep position sizing commensurate with that level of risk. A little bit of green here, defending that lower bound area. It's all about consistency, man. I've been trading poorly due to discipline issues, so I'm just an observer after FOMC. Missing yesterday's price action was painful. There you go. Ain't nothing wrong with taking a break, especially if you know you're not doing well. I hate inversing you, but 3 rejections off 19975 support is too much. I'm going long off of it. No, do your thing, man. We're putting on 3 15-minute dojis here, where the third one's turning into a hammer candle. If it does close to a hammer candle on the 15, then I'm with you, buddy. I'll close out my stuff and up we go. So I would like to see a volume influx, even if it's a very small volume influx, to get us up here. But I don't know. Yeah, I'm still holding it. I'm IBKR. Not much trading today, obviously. This is pretty dang slow stuff, which is Opex day. So the day before is usually the big day, even though they had all the fun in pre-market. Although I caught that rejection down yesterday. I was unable to catch the run up during the morning because I was on the call with Spot Gamma, but I caught the move down. Is GameStop going? Loaded on zeros. Nice. Tripping Mike. XLU's up 2%. Kind of sus. There's a lot of sus right now. Man, we have been now pinned here on NASDAQ, plus or minus a couple of points, since 9:55, going on an hour. El Terrible. NVIDIA bought a lot of calls at the open, but they haven't increased the amount of calls bought. It's been laying flat. Trying to get my old options data loaded. Hit refresh. Just make sure everything. We have a little bit of put selling, call buying, but it's very, very weak. Very, very weak. 5730 is the 0DTE GEX rolling upwards. We have Apple and NVIDIA rolled off a lot of their calls. It went from 60, 70 mil to now 29 mil. So they rolled it all off. Looks like a bear flag on SPY, doesn't it? What time frame? I could see what you're thinking. I could see what you're saying. Yeah. Yeah. I've been hanging out on the 15 all day today. Whenever I get price action like this, I usually stay on the 15. FedEx is down 15%. Golly, man. I'm ready to put on a swing trade, that's for sure. When FedEx charges $25 for a small box that UPS can ship for $1, minus 15% checks out. I know a couple of FedEx pilots. They love it. They love it. Heard that job's amazing. It is. It is. So I have it. There's a couple of pilots, and they literally fly the same route. It's like from here to Oklahoma or something like that. And yeah, so the fly. If you actually go, I know, like Louisville, by the way. The UPS hub is in Louisville, which is really cool. Sunday nights, I think it was. I used to be stationed up there for a little bit. Sunday nights, all the UPS planes would line up and take off to fly around the country. They would do their Sunday night drop or whatever. I'm talking like 50 747s, 737s, just everything loaded up. And you see them all just take off and launch 747 one after another. Which is really cool to see, by the way. But there's, you go to the FedEx hubs and whatnot, and they fly pretty much the same route. And they'll fly the drop, they'll come back empty, and you can maneuver that plane a lot more when it's empty. I know, that'd be cool. Eventually it'll go unmanned though. That's the next technology, is make those flights unmanned. They'll test it out on the cargo aircraft first, with no passengers. It's okay to do barrel rolls after the drop. Oh yeah. 19,984. Boeing had a huge bounce. Yeah, they rolled off all the puts, so that makes sense. They went from negative million or negative 100 million to nothing. If there's anything you want to talk about on a day like today, let me know. We're still holding short on NASDAQ. Incredibly slow action. Good day to kind of chill and enjoy the weekend. Senator Mullen just disclosed a purchase of $50,000 of IQVIA stock. Pharmaceutical Services. Sits on the Senate Committee on Health. Funny how that works. They'll probably do remote control flights, first flight, and then just copy drone tech. Yeah. Eventually what'll happen is that there'll be one pilot on board or one person on board who operates and just checks up on the machines, at least at first. And they'll just fly it all remotely. A little bit of red here. 19,980 NASDAQ and 57.53. SPX is still pinned just under 5,700. He's my senator, one of them. Do you have any ancient Chinese voodoo tactics to combat poor disciplined trading? You've got to be, that book, Extreme Ownership, is exactly right. You've got to be very, very honest with yourself. Because a lot of the frustrations that y'all, or myself included, that we face are all self-induced. You know why you took a trade. Reactionary trading, there's a reason why you shorted the low and bought the high. Because you're reactionary trading. Even then, it's okay to take losses because it happens. You over position size. You use the wrong product. You try to go too big too much. You just got to be honest with yourself. You know, there's not a one answer fix I can give you to fix all your problems, but you've got to be aggressively honest with yourself. Like a psychiatrist would be scared of the things you're saying to yourself. No, I'm just kidding. Don't do that, because you still want to be positive, but you've got to be honest with yourself and go from there. Because if you keep doing the things you're doing, you're never going to be successful. You just got to tell yourself, am I finally ready to be successful yet? Forget about the huge wins. Forget about, $100,000 payouts. Forget about all that stuff. Slow and steady wins the race. If you were to walk into your job right now, and your boss handed you $200 cash money every single day, you walked in, here's $200, great work. I think everybody in here would be pretty thrilled with that. But yet, when we trade, we want $5,000. So think about that in terms of, if I were to make $200 a day, an average $200 a day, because you're going to have losing days, is that something that would make you happy or change your life? For the most part, yeah, it would. So it's all about how we approach this. You've got to control the way you approach trading. You guys have been getting 5K a day. No, I'm just saying people strive for that stuff. They see people on Twitter, and that's the whole reason why I hate cheerleading in this server. I hate it because I know it's full of crap. So you're not showing the other side of things. You're not showing the pressure and the losses and stuff. Embrace the suck. Yeah. Would you take a short on Boeing? I don't pay enough attention to it. I'd have to look at it. Long term, I don't even know, dude. I'm probably ready to close that freaking position. Oh my gosh, that's what she said. What's up, Theodore? I'll take a look. Yeah, my guy still hasn't got back to me. Stupid WordPress. I'll get you hooked up. Man, no movement. 19,967. My NASDAQ short's doing well. I'm glad I shorted that instead of S&P. So, new low of the day for the NASDAQ. 19,933 will be my first target to trim profit. I used to only tell people about losses and never about the wins. People thought I was going broke. Not even kidding. See, isn't that great? Because you reduce the pressure on yourself. Trust me, the biggest thing I struggle with running this community is the pressure to perform. Feeling like that I always have to perform. If I have a red day, I feel like it's imposter syndrome. Like I'm always that's the biggest thing I had to get over. But it's you just got to be realistic, man. And this is a hard thing to do. This almost reached an intervention. Yeah. I feel like Dr. Phil. Talk about feelings. I mean, it's it's part of it, man. One of the biggest errors I make in day trading futures is figuring out whether or not day trending is the day is trending from the open. Big red here, still coming off 1945. Sweet. Watch for 933. Now, aggressive down candle out of nowhere. Watch what happens on the close. If they bottom wick it, it's time to go long, because that'll be a liquidity sweep. If they hold it down, then we have to seek out the next demand. So this is a very important candle, especially on the 15-minute. $19,933 first target. Now watch, if you're using the spot gamma trace tool, which I guess you're not because it's not live yet. If you're using that tool, what I'm looking for is, as the price falls, you see they're buying puts here. The hero indicator is indicating buying puts. It's downtrending below the price. But watch this target right here. See this short put, 5680, which is now 10 points out. So if we attack 5680 on SPX, Watch to see if we absorb that. If they absorb it, then most likely we're going to keep on going. Trending down. Still coming off 19,943. ES is still dropping here too. What I'm going to do is put my first profit target at 933 to take my first batch of profit. And that'll put me 95 point profit per contract on NASDAQ. And we're about to touch it. I don't even have time to set a profit target yet. Come on, baby. Extreme Ownership, Annie. It's not a trading book, but it's a psychological book. How to get your mind. You can apply that to anything in life, you know. Stop blaming other people. We have a huge problem in this country and our society to blame everything else except ourselves. All right, there's a first touch of 933. We got 93375. So still a little pressure lower here. You're welcome. We do have put buying, call selling. You see the hero starting to drop. Let's go look at the actual hero. I can be your hero, baby. Yeah, look at that. Dumping calls. See that orange line? That is calls. Dumping calls. Buying puts. So they're rolling off everything from yesterday. And it's showing the hero line go down. Beautiful stuff, man. Beautiful stuff. All right, about to take out 933. There we go. Watch that first target here. So they're increasing this position. You see it? 60 minutes ago was 14 million, 30 minutes ago was 19 million, 10 minutes ago was 21 million. So they're increasing this position at 5680, which should provide support for SPX if they touch it. At least the first attempt. They'll defend that 5680 position. Which is 7 points down, which is roughly 5648, 5649 on the S&P. Call it 70 or 30. What do you think about the ICT concept? I don't know. I can't cut through the bull crap enough to see the concepts. I'm sure it's fine. You know, the little I've seen about it, all it is just literally liquidity trading. That's it, which is VPA. There's no difference about it. Imbalances. But once again, I can't waste my time watching egotistical traders. It's nonsense. How does that clown get so much attention? I mean, it was a perfect storm of people desperate to gain some sort of education, and he struck on that. And he provided an organized way in order to follow whatever his system it is, and people caught on to it. You know, and I'm not saying he's even wrong. That's a thing. He may be, you know, that system may be good. I don't know. It seems from what I've seen, it's all based on liquidity. It's just the fact that the nonsense of it. The money part of Trace is seeing the GEX by strike increase and decrease. I trade HDM Powerful. Oh, nice. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, trade what works for you. Definitely. All right, still have some green. We defended 933, but they're still pressing it. The community is very toxic. No matter how profitable you are, they'll call your strategy crap if it's not ICT. Yep. Anyone wants to sell you a system, that so-called system has already been defeated by the market and provides no edge. Otherwise, he wouldn't sell it to you. Well, you know, I just think understanding, you know, obviously I'm biased. Understanding price action and volume, the association, I think, and patience, of course, will allow you to put together, you know, at least some profits. I don't even know if you can call what I do a system, you know. It's just been able to make it work so far. $19,940. Still coming off, and yeah. So I'm hanging out on the 15-minute. I haven't come off the 15-minute except when someone asked me about a wedge, and I went to the 5. Now I'm back on the 15. So I'm watching this candle. We had 3 dojis in a row, which is neutrality, on the 15-minute chart. And then this large red engulfing here at 10:45, and now we're pressing into the 933 pivot. I'm not seeing anything except call selling. You see it's still dipping here on the S&P. You see this? It's still dropping lower on the S&P Hero. One setup to rule them all. All right, breach of 933 coming off. Another small bottom wick. Microsoft is shifting lower. Not too terrible of a day, considering how slow it is. A great day to trade futures, not options, in my opinion. It's working pretty well. So now that we're below 933, I'm going to start shifting things lower, and I'll stop out of the trade on any bounce. I won't accept any more bounces. Now that we're below support, you cannot accept a bounce. If you accept a bounce, then you're going to lose too much profits, because probability says if we bounce and recapture resistance, most likely we're going to put on some sort of recovery, even if it's a small one. So I can't accept any bounces, at least on the entire position. I have to at least take profits out. Right here. Stop myself out and be trying to stop myself from re-entering positions quickly, so I miss the moves. That's just how days go. Yep. Especially with prop firms, is that you can get in the habit of over trading by chasing trades. Now, I don't know what's going to happen. Holy crap, there's red. I'm short. And then you get bottom wicked. So try to always be more proactive. I would rather you lose on shorting a high and that keeps on going rather than you wait for a high to form, you get a big red candle, and then you short, and then it bottom wicks and shakes you out. I think that's more of a reactionary trade. Coming off red here, 933. Can you talk through your NASDAQ short entry? Yes. So I entered short at 9:50 Eastern Time on the money. And it was when we breached lower on that top wick. So we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 top wicks on the 5-minute and 2 aggressive top wicks on the 15-minute once we swept off that high again. That's when I entered short, and I've been holding ever since on the NASDAQ candle. And then I got a fill of 0.37. We've been dojied on the 15-minute. I elected to hold through that because all the price action. We did not have a high volume spike. We did not have a hammer candle, so nothing told me bounces. And as long as the VPA says you're okay, I'm okay. And just been holding on down. And here we took, my first target was 19,933. We're right on top of that right now. And coming along. Why did you hold despite the bottom wicks in the 5? Because I've been hanging on the 15. I literally have not come off the 15. And I'm seeing Doji's print with no high volume. So we have no volume influx, which means we haven't hit demand yet. and we have no bottom wicks. It's all 15-minute dojis. And a doji is a continuation candle. That's by definition, that's what a doji is, continuation. And yeah, so I elected a hold and set my stops accordingly. And luckily I got or I don't know, luckily, favorably, I guess, we got the red action here. Did you take some off at pre-market low? I have taken some off here at 933. Yeah. And I'm holding the rest. I thought Doji was an indecision, so it might reverse. Doji is just an indecision candle, period. So might reverse is a human thought, but a Doji is simply indecision. You need more. So whenever I'm looking at the price, especially on higher time frames like the 15, 30, 60 minute, it's all about, if I see a doji print, to me, that's like a pause button. Like we're just waiting for confirmation here. It's not an actionable candle. A hammer candle with volume is actionable. A tweezer top with volume is actionable. But a doji is not actionable. It's just, here, you know what? I got something for you. Since I once again missed another Thursday because I'm a jabroni. I got something for you. Let me tell you a story. Come sit down. A little bit of red here. Thanks, Tofu. Killer Tofu. God, where's this at? I know what I'm looking for. I just need the page number. Hey, Doug. Mac, mac. Y'all remember that? Oh, my gosh. Tell me you're a 90s baby without telling me. Hold on. I got something for you. I can't find the page. I'm pretty sure it's in chapter 6. If I remember right. Booyah. Okay. Page 92, chapter 6. I was right. Figure 6.13, the long-legged doji. And then, of course, you have to look at the volume relative to the doji. If you have a high-volume doji, that's an anomaly. Usually that means vol contraction, you're getting ready to break out. A low-volume doji means you can print multiple dojis. In this case, we had low-volume dojis. And why is volatility contraction when you have a high-volume doji? Imagine a water bottle, and you're starting to fill it with high-pressurized water. And eventually it's going to pop and explode. That's what's happening. You got a whole bunch of volume with buyers and sellers hitting, but the price action is still contained. Volatility contraction, which usually leads to a breakout. So if I see a high-volume doji, I'm going to kind of sit up in my chair and expect a breakout one way or the other. But it's still indecision in terms of direction. Low volume doji usually means continuation to the side consolidation, which in that point we had, and then sell back off. Price action of a long-legged doji, in this case, is indecision. Long-legged doji can reverse from a bearish to a bullish, bullish to bearish, and the direction depends on the preceding price action. So yeah, it's all about the volume. What book do I have in front of me? Complete Guide to Volume Price Analysis. Chapter 6. So again, the long-legged dojis with volume. That tells you something. Right now we have low volume, so it favors the downside. It's still indecision, but it favors the downside looking for a breach. Still dropping off here, 927. SPX is now 5685, coming on down to the put leg. Slow grind down days are the worst. I like it so far. Yeah, complete guide to volume price analysis. Go get it. Go get it. Iron Beam. Anyone use Iron Beam? Still going red. It's a futures broker, apparently, that has emailed me for a partnership. Never heard of them. 19922. Still dropping. I get their stupid ads on YouTube every YouTube video. There you go. I have an account but never traded it. Interesting. 19920 dropping. It's pretty much impossible to get me away from IBKR, so. Still dropping. If Apple breaks, we're really going to see some pressure. Laces out, Dan. Laces out. Would you recommend I maintain a buy limited orders at 5470 and 19917 for paper trade? I don't like 19917 for a blind long. There's not enough support there for a blind long. Not to say we won't bounce off of it. If I'm doing any kind of blind long like that, the retest at about 875 may do it. Never see a lot of IBKR ads or Quantower ads. Yeah, you never see Ferrari ads either, do you? Because they don't need them. But you see a whole bunch of Hyundai ads. Hey Andrew, not trying to bring up a sore subject, but what happened to your viewership? Seems way down for some reason combined to the past. Yeah, I mean, I used to have 600 or 700 people watching on YouTube. Now it's 200. When we first started, the investing community was very hot. I had a whole bunch of people sign up, and of course, as people didn't do well in the market, we went back down, and now the people that are left are the people that are serious about trading. At first, I was kind of bummed about that. Not gonna lie, but I'm very happy with where the community is right now. The amount of crap I don't have to put up with is pretty awesome. So definitely not a sore subject. Yeah. Plus, I don't have time to post a lot of YouTube content anymore, so the algorithms aren't pushing my videos. All right, here's 19910, and looking for about 887. Your Reddit is way bigger than I thought. Yeah, I've got about, I think I just passed 68,000 people on the Reddit page. It's in the top 2% of all Reddit pages. But nobody uses it. It's whatever. Man, Kennedy one might have been right. 907. I don't use Iron Beam, but I've been known to slap into a Slim Jim. Slap into a Slim Jim. Love it. Also, someone asked for a good Discord in there the other day. Yeah. Speaking of which, I need to add this back. Settings, configure add-ons. I need icebergs. There we go. Large red candles coming off. 57.41 on ES, still dropping. Coming on down, first touch of 56.82 right here. Liquidity on Bookmap dropping a whole, holy smokes. Y'all weren't kidding. Jeez Louise. They are not messing around with icebergs today. Of course, I don't have my filters on, so it's putting all the small ones on too, but holy moly. Still dropping 57.40. I'm still riding this NASDAQ short down, at least the remainders of it. I took some profit at 933 here. I'm still riding down. I just crossed over 145 points a contract on NASDAQ. Turned into a pretty good day. Kind of wish I would have taken an SPX put now. Apple's starting to smoke it. 56.80. The call selling is still accelerating. A lot of call selling and put buying. 5670 is current GEX shifting lower. Large red here, still dropping down, 892. Beautiful. Beautiful. Made my schmeckles. Nice, Mikey. Have a good weekend, buddy. Don't get into too much hogwash. I think the next 6 to 10 weeks are sell the rip territory. You and me both, brother. Hi, OM used to be active here. I want to do some mentorships. I've been back quietly listening to your analysis last few weeks. Nice. Appreciate that, man. Well, welcome back and hanging out with us again. It's always a huge compliment when someone leaves and comes back, so I appreciate you coming back. It's humbling. 56.75 and dropping here. SPX is now below 56.80. Now, what did they do with that position? Let's see. Still hanging on here, so they haven't closed yet according to this just yet. Maybe haven't updated yet. But we're coming down to the one-day implied move, 5675, and the support retest. Now, what did I say on NASDAQ? 875? We're still dropping here. We're still dropping on NASDAQ of 875. We're right at that level. If they give this level out, most likely we're looking for 5,700 on a yes. They're starting to sell it all, baby. Sell it all. Freaking yesterday was a mechanical day. It was a mechanism of options chain activity. But we're playing this thing nice and slow. Nice and slow. All the way down. Nice and easy. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. S&P's down 40 points. Put buying is about to cross over call selling, which is gross. Call selling is large right now, and put buying is about to cross over. Way too early to call victory on looking for a red September, but I think we'll end up a red September. I think yesterday was a sweep. 5733. NASDAQ still selling 871 on this candle. Fantastic. Now that we're below 5700 SPX, we're back inside that volatile trigger on the long-term scale, which could lead to some more pressure. Return viewer also, love your commentary. Nice, Vinces. Appreciate it, buddy. I chose one of the few stocks that's green today and had a put on. Had to sell it quick. Yeah, I feel you, man. I've done that before. Still dropping. Still dropping. Oysters, clams, and cockles. Change window. Let's go to Spot Gamma. How about that? Spot Gamma dashboard. Right here. So you see it right here. 56.80 short put position. 1 day implied move, which has worked well as a pivot the past since I've been using this tool. We do have a small volume influx on NASDAQ. Maybe time to trim up some profit here. I'll roll my stops down. We're right here on the implied move. Hero still showing call, selling, put buying. We're not anywhere close to the major short delta in the market, though. It's just a singular position, singularity, which is a calculus term. But that's pretty much it, man. I'm just walking through the downside this morning. It's been started off pretty slow, turned into a decent move. Any questions y'all have, let me know. I'll be happy to walk through things. Y'all remember pop-up videos? High volume bottom wick on the 5. That's the second highest volume on the 5-minute scale with a bottom wick. I called this out last night in Discord when I said that island doji yesterday. If it was lower, like that doji to an island, is usually a very strong indicator of downward move unless it happens top of the move. For me with daily island, daily candles. Nice. Well done. Well done. You know, we had that high volume rejection, which led to that doji. And then the 57.96. So if you noticed, a couple of things that happened up there, which, by the way, I saw that message, so good on you, is that we had a whole bunch of put buying and call selling that initiated about 140, 130, somewhere in that time frame yesterday afternoon, and then we started to roll back over. 875 was on the money. Appreciate it. You're very welcome. You know where I got that from? The support resistance flip, the imbalance flip, basically from Wednesday. From Wednesday. Been short since 5:30. Did you post it in the channel? I like to know that stuff. Big green candles here. Well, that's now officially flat. Got me out of the position on that bounce. So I'm back to flat. Pretty good stuff. High volume bottom wick. Should the GEX at 5680 either come off or roll down? Possibly. We don't know that. We don't know how they plan on doing that. After 2 daily top wicks on NASDAQ, yesterday's candle looks like a trap at FOMO candle to go long. And this reversing today might bring good downside in the coming weeks. Let me go take a look. Yeah. So ultimately, this 875 area is a semi-important level from this 875, and if we claim that, then I would say full on for a selling climax style action into next week, which will turn. I think the flip point for ES, because yesterday I was looking for a red September. We're not that far off. It's not that big of a call. We're only talking about 5717 will turn the monthly candle red. So we're not talking about, we're talking about 25, 30 points here. And for the selling climax to play out, we need the sweep. We need the high volume sweep. Because the selling climax, you have to have the price action, you have to have the volume. But this has all the looks of it. Go back, remember what I posted. Go back and look at from July 1st until July 20th. This has the same exact setup. Weakening price action, large green candle to break out, and then immediate reversal. That right there is it's a distribution setup. And it's literally mimicking the exact same price action from July 1st to July 20th. Yeah, we just talked about dojis. Yeah, we just went through a lesson. Island reversal, the strong signals for short-term confirmation. Yeah, but you need volume. That's the key. A doji by itself doesn't matter at all. It's the doji with volume. Because a doji without volume is simply indifference. A doji with volume shows vol contraction, which leads to breakout. That's the key. You have to look at the volume first. Can you walk through your entry again at 950? Yeah. Let's look. Wait a memento. Screen, change windows. Let me hide my macro levels real quick, 1 second. Although I guess it's the end of the week, I could show that stuff. Applications, the S&P Options University, and live. We'll do it live. All right. So y'all can see my chart here. My entry was at 850 Central, 950 Central, which was here. There. So top wick, we had top wick, top wick, top wick, top wick on the 5-minute. On the 15-minute, it was 2 top wicks back to back, which ultimately led to lower prices. So once we broke through that prior low here, I took entry right here. 037 was my actual entry, so what about right there? And I elected a hold. So we had the first sweep lower. Once we took out this candle, that was indication that we're still holding short, because look what happened. I'll post a level right here. Just thinking through my process, we breached the support, and now we've retested. Retest, 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 retest. As long as we hold under 012, my short position is safe. Remember what my normal thesis is that when I take a short position or a long position, whatever, I want to build natural defense in the market. I want the market itself to protect me. It's like the big old bodyguard. So as long as we hold over the prior pivot, which in this case was 012, I'm solid. You know, you could, and from this instance, how you want to manage position is up to you. You can set your stop in loss territory. You could set it a break even. You could set it just beyond this blue line, which is prior support or prior support. It doesn't matter. You be as aggressive as you want. That is your particular strategy. Once we clear this area and pull away, the technique that I use, once we pull away, that's when I start to roll my stop down. Once we go away from support and start moving, all right, now we're cleared. Now I can move my stop. Let's say, I can shift it, this stupid trading view. I can start shifting my support, my stop loss down. Let's say, right here. And then if you look, like for me, I was managing the trade on the 15-minute, which looks like this. This is what it looked like. So my entry was 3.7 here. We have Doji, 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 which all, if you look at, no volume. No volume. And I was just waiting to clear. And as long as we didn't recapture any highs, I'm solid. I'm good to go. We finally cleared lower. We took out the support. Once we take out this candle right here, that's time for me to roll my position down my stop again. At which point I did. Roll my stop down. And then once we begin, I was calling out 933 is my first target, which we held up at 933. That was my first profit target. Not my stop loss, but a profit target, which I got out of a position. Held the rest of them. And then once we cleared the next support of 933, I rolled my stop down again, which is where we are here, which is I stopped out of the position here. So that's all I'm doing is I'm managing the position down. My first entry was the fact that we have 4 5-minute top wicks and 2 aggressive 15-minute top wicks, plus the rest of the option chain data, the whole rest of the market, everything kind of piled in together, and all I'm doing is riding down. And as long as the market holds under particular levels, okay, I'll just hold it and set my stops. Hope that makes sense. You're very welcome. Much better with you changing the screen you're showing. Yeah, definitely. Always try to help out. I need to adjust my iceberg settings. This is ridiculous. I had to re-add it for December contracts. Configure add-ons. On chart indicator. Sound alerts. I don't need sound alerts. I need to filter those out. It looks so obvious and easy once you show us. Well, it's definitely not easy. Um, but again, it all comes back to the same thing. Position sizing makes it clear to think, I think is a better way to explain it. If I was in max position sizing, then I'd probably be freaking out with every single little wick. But with my position sizing, so be it. If it bounces and breaks me out break even, ain't no thing but a chicken wing, man. And then, of course, if I catch a 150 pointer, then that's pretty dang good money for NASDAQ. So, World Cup Trading Championship. I think I'm going to do this in 2025. You see my boy, I was surprised, man. What's his name? Used to be not D-Book, changed his name to Lane. He's shutting down his Discord. He's been he's young and it's very mentally taxing. Very mentally taxing. So I think I think he's over it. He's done with it. He's tired of the stress. That's just me. I'm guessing though. I haven't talked to him about it. I know he's kind of posted some stuff that he's been kind of struggling with some mental health, but he's a good dude, man. He knows his stuff. It's a stressful thing to do. If you're someone who cares about what other people think, you would not do well doing this. Yeah, swing trading guy, super good dude. VPA trader. Alrighty. No idea what you're talking about. Yeah, it's a guy I follow on Twitter. He's got like 80,000 followers. Lane used to be D-Book. Well, I'm back to flat here. Haven't taken another trade. We'll look for another setup. Taking a swing trade for September 30th. What's the position? I like to follow this trader, big on volume profile and VPA. Yeah, I've seen him around. I don't think I follow him, but I don't know. I don't have a good or a bad opinion about him. I don't know. I don't know enough. I have to look at him. Russell's rolling over. Dow's rolling over. XLF is still dropping. The options right now say 5670 gex. Looking at spot gamma, we bounced right off the one-day implied move again, which has been a very good support the past couple of days. Look, see that purple line? One-day implied move? It's been a great pivot, man. Great pivot. Learn my lesson holding overnight on SPY puts this week. Never again. You have to be very delicate swinging overnight low. The market loves to bounce in pre-market. Oh my gosh. We're in a crazy period of time, man. I can't believe how crap I am trading today. Long Nasdaq from the bottom. Nice gas. Yeah. So what we tap? What was Nasdaq's low there? 860. So right at the support resistance flip from yesterday. I said 875. We got to 860, then bounced. So it's all support resistance flip. That's why multiple time frame analysis, zooming out, will show you where the market is likely to bounce. The market goes from liquidity to liquidity. If you can think in those terms, you can start to figure out with some reasonable confidence where the market will at least interact. If not bounce or reject, but at least interact and respond. And for there to be a support resistance flip on NASDAQ right here at 875, there has to be some sort of reaction. At this point, it's turning into about a 100-point bounce. So there you go. Call buying is starting to hit the tape. You see Hero bouncing right here. You see them bouncing off the SPX off of the one-day implied move. You see a 15-minute high-volume bounce. That's now recapturing 960. There you go. I have to mute. I'll be right back. Sorry, I forgot to do that. Any advice for actually following, trusting an algorithm? I made one. I love it. Backtesting is great, but I'm constantly exiting early and not trusting it. I personally don't use algorithms, so I can't answer that question. I know Mr. Fetty. Mr. Fetty used some, so you can ask him. I know he might be busy with his dad today. He's got some medical issues, but yeah. I mean, as with anything with developing a system which includes algorithms, if you're going to go through the trouble of creating a system and a process, trust it. Set a stop loss and just trust the position, trust the entry. Do you see this happen with the Kentucky sheriff and judge? That is some crazy stuff, man. That's like some Wild West stuff. The sheriff of the town and the judge, they were like best friends. Apparently, the sheriff found out the judge, who's his best friend, was raping his daughter. So he literally walked into the courthouse, walked into his chambers, and shot him in the face. Killed him. And now they've got the sheriff arrested for first-degree murder. Crazy stuff, man. Not only the judge, but it was his friend. Wow. A little bit of green coming on back up. No, his daughter. Not his wife, his daughter. I don't know what age the daughter was, but it was underage. Unpopular opinion, but I doubt a jury will convict him. In Kentucky, no, they won't convict him. In California, he doesn't stand a chance. Oh man, a little bit of green here coming up. Look at the call buying is picking up. They bounce right off the one-day implied move to the tick, and big green. 15-minute high volume Doji. Look at the difference between that Doji and a low volume Doji. That's the difference, because that 15-minute candle there at 11:15 was technically a Doji, but it was high volume. That's the difference between the Dojis we saw earlier and this one. Big green candle right off 19,860, right off the one-day implied move to Mars. Let's go take a look at the data. S&P 5750, they bounced 16 points. 57.53, beautiful. Went from negative 1500 to 300 green. Beautiful. Well done. So 2 high volume candles here on the 15-minute so far. Large green engulfing candle off the one-day implied move off of the support. Coming up. In German news, they don't mention anything why he shot. Yeah. Man, crazy stuff. I think this tool is going to really sharpen my edge a little bit more. You have to think of your system as like an axe. You always have to sharpen it. How sharp can you get that edge? Had a great day yesterday. Nice lib. Second, almost second highest volume candle here. Coming all the way up. Beautiful. Beautiful. Call buying starting to pick up. Put selling starting to pick up. And they're going. SPX 5695. Still going. Pressing into the gamma again, 5700. Heck yeah, man. Pretty happy with that exit. Pretty happy with that exit. Not gonna lie. I know you don't use algos, but would you ever be interested and willing to give feedback on one? Yeah, sure. I'm always happy to give feedback and help. I don't know how much help I'll be with an algorithm, but if you want to like talk about the parameters and whatnot, yeah, definitely. I mean, heck, I wish I was savvy enough to use those things. It's interesting if you use an algorithm to backtest prior days and forecast price action as a trade companion. There's one trader I saw who had an almost 90% win rate on FOMC day since 23. Man, that would be awesome. Nice, Kate. Well done. I'm out. Have a great Friday and weekend. Yeah. Where'd you find the motive for that shooting? Twitter. Twitter link. Let's see. Doesn't say on this one. I'm just reading it. Hold on. Ooh, I'm reading something that's not even close to what that was. Yeah, the articles I'm reading have nothing to do about his daughter, but I don't know. I guess we'll read more about it later. Anyway, what else y'all got? Anyone else catch a good long off that bottom? I longed RTY for 350 per contract. Nice 6Y. Interested in puts if SPY can't hold above VWAP after that move. There you go. A long 906. Nice. My algo did got a piece of it. There you go. Nice AR. What was the long signal on the ES15? High volume Doji at 11:15. And then, if that wasn't enough, once we clear out 5744, that's the second indication of long. That would complete the isolated pivot, the 3-candle pattern, which is time to go long. Or get out of short, which is what I used it for. Instead of going long, I used it to get out of a short. Perfectly fine. Here's our new shotgun, Turkish. Negative. I haven't even shot it yet. I gotta get that thing out to the farm, shoot it. It might be Turkish. I don't know. I actually have no idea. For 199 bucks though, I'm good to go. I'm gonna for 80 bucks. I got a coupon plus 10% off, so $72. I can get the 20-round drum. I'm definitely getting that. And it takes 3-inch shells, which I didn't know. I thought it only took 2 3/4, but it takes 3-inch shells. So I could put in 21 3-inch shells. Semi-auto. Heck yeah, man, that'll do some damage. All right. It is about 11 o'clock here. I think I'm about ready to call it a day. So one good trade for me. Shorted from 20.037 down into the 19.860 area. No other trades for me though. You know, that's it. If you have any questions about anything, let me know. I did an explanation through the trade. However, I'll go ahead and type it up later today as well and post it in there as well as my daily recap for what I think is going to come next week. We do have Powell speaking next week. I don't know what about. And other than that, there's not that many catalysts next week. So, in my opinion, we will finish September red. And we'll see how that plays out going into today and, of course, next week. And we'll play it accordingly. If you have any questions about anything else, let me know. About SpotGamble's new trace tool, about Bookmap, about anything else, please post in the channel. Other than that, I will see you all bright and early Monday morning for Tier 2. Remember, we're going to do Chapter 8 Monday morning. And then we'll do Chapter 9 on Thursday. I'm going to set an alert this time. Other than that, I'll see you all next week. I'm out. See you.